The question before us today, will Kevin McCarthy stop the war in Ukraine? Well, this is the show, Mr. Speaker. I am Earth Faith, yet I speak for myself. How do you like that? I'm in Bakersfield, California, home of Kevin McCarthy. And in today's news, he indicated some resistance on the Ukraine war budget as far as, coming up against Mitch McConnell in the Senate. Kevin, of course, is very likely to be the Speaker of the House in 2023, which is a job that he's prepared for and groomed for a long, long time, sitting in the shadows of Nancy Pelosi of Northern California. I was in her vicinity in Berkeley, California for many, many years, and in 2014 moved into McCarthy's area of Kern County, where Bakersfield is the county seat. But enough about myself, I digress. Everybody's wondering, what is this all about? Well, I'll tell you what it's all about. This is not a strategy of defeat. No. This is a political strategy towards taking over the entire political system, including the White House and the Senate. Now remember, in 2022, in November, we're going to have elections. The House is expected to switch over and become Republican, while the Senate is expected to be held by the Democrats, mainly because of a couple of key races, certainly Pennsylvania with Oz versus Fetterman, and then Georgia with Herschel Walker faltering against Raphael Warnock. So with those two key Senate races, it's, just one vote to tilt the balance, it's very likely that the Democrats will hold the Senate in 2022. But this is an indicator that Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans are not conceding defeat on that matter. In fact, this strategy to have Mitch McConnell, be the war advocate and Kevin McCarthy be the peace advocate is a strategy where one party can control the entire government by having variations between its members. Now remember, the presidency is also up for grabs. Joe Biden, who is a military man, is very hawkish, is the word on military when they like a war. He's been a hawkish president recently, coming up with very strong words for Saudi Arabia due to the oil supply issues that basically there's a shortage. Now Biden himself is responsible for that shortage because he cut off the deal with Russia in Gazprom. This shortage is in Western Europe, and Russia was providing Western Europe, but Biden won. But look, let's be honest, Saudi Arabia is basically an ally of Russia, and it might be easy to pick on Saudi Arabia, but Biden is clearly he was involved in the Iran nuclear peace agreement with President Obama. They came out in the conflict between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Biden came out in favor of Iran. Now, so he lost a lot of credibility with Saudi Arabia. These two countries are having proxy wars in the Middle East based on the religious differences between Sunni and Shiite Muslims. Now, some people don't care. They don't think it means anything. They think, it's just, oil countries or whatever. I doubt that's what Biden is thinking. But I'll tell you this, Biden doesn't have that much credibility And Israel is closer to Saudi Arabia than with Iran, of course, which has threatened to nuke Israel. Now, I'm not going to get into all that. What I'm saying is Biden is escalating, and we're talking about Kevin McCarthy. Why? Because now Biden is still very vulnerable. He wants that oil to shore up his presidency, but why would Saudi Arabia help Biden? And Biden is willing to threaten in a situation where World War circumstances, and Biden is willing to escalate that conflict. Regardless. Now, the question is, if the Republicans want to topple Biden, who's going to be the person? Well, the indicators right now are, that it won't be Donald Trump, that it might be someone like Liz Cheney. Remember, she's also from a military family. Her father was Dick Cheney, the Secretary of Defense, and a very hawkish vice president as well. Liz Cheney may be the candidate. She's not the only candidate. There still is a possibility, despite all of his enormous legal problems, that Donald Trump could be the Republican candidate for 2024. And why don't I entertain that for a moment before shooting down that possibility, just for the legal problems Trump is having right now, but also because of his close ties to China. And there we have the latest defector, Tulsi Gabbard, defecting from the Democrats. She was a representative as a Democrat, and she's not yet, accepted into the Republican Party, but she made an endorsement to Kari Lake, the Trump surrogate, who is the one who is possibly going to win. She has a small lead, but steady lead of 1.6% or so over her opponent for Arizona governor, another female candidate. But I'll tell you this, her name is Katie Hobbs, by the way, and Kari Lake has been picking on Katie Hobbs for refusing to debate, calling Katie Hobbs a coward. Now, Kari Lake has clearly identified herself as a Trump candidate, somebody who was endorsed and accepted the endorsement of Donald Trump recently. She is a real star as far as Trump candidates go. And when you consider some of the others and who have faltered, as I mentioned in the Senate, Herschel Walker in Georgia and Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. But Kari Lake, she as a female candidate, she could be on the ticket as vice president with Donald Trump 2 years from now, because Trump doesn't have that many friends who haven't gone to jail or under investigation. So she is a former TV news anchor, 20 years as a news anchor, and now a star of the Trump Republicans. But once again, let's take us back to the topic of this video, which is, Kevin McCarthy and whether he's going to get us out of the war with Russia. Now, he may very well be part of the peace program, which I am as well. I support peace. I have a vision where this will lead to a peace, but because we do business with China all the time, and China and Russia are both communist countries. I mean, there's just no way to expand that war unless you're planning on stopping business commerce with China. However, that does not mean that Trump will be president. McCarthy is another option, a peace option. He is still, friends with Donald Trump. By the way, he got in a little trouble with Trump over the January 6th incident. But, now we're talking about nuances between, McConnell, Trump, and McCarthy. These are three separate individuals with slightly different perspectives, and they are more careful politically, obviously, than I am. I am here giving my opinion on this show, Mr. Speaker, and I speak for myself. So what can I say? What does it mean? Let me go back to what we were saying, which is the Republicans are planning on controlling the whole government. This is a small victory. It doesn't use all of the ammunition that they have in 2022 when they retake the House. They're going to still be behind in the Senate. Biden is going to be the president. So they only use a small amount of their ammunition. This year, it could have been a bigger red wave of Republican victory, but that would have bounced back against them in 2024. How's that? Because if they're controlling the entire Congress, then they share the blame for the failed economy, of course, which right now is in Biden's lap. So with the overall summary here, what we're saying is that with another viable candidate, we're talking about Liz Cheney. It could be anybody, assuming Trump legal troubles prevent him from being the Republican candidate. Then we're talking about Liz Cheney coming up against Joe Biden, still in a wartime situation. McCarthy being the dove amongst them, the peace option, as far as negotiations and government policy, and Trump also was the negotiating option, doing business with China. Eventually, we do think, we gotta have a peace treaty. So this is, in summary, saying that this movement by McCarthy to say that he wants to control the budget of the money flowing to the Ukraine war, it does not mean that McCarthy is going to be able to stop the war or that he wants to stop the war. It means that he's going to be the peace option instead of a Democrat being a peace option. It'll be McCarthy will be the spokesperson for ending that war, which basically we all want that war to end, as soon as possible. McConnell is still going to be pumping money into that war. McCarthy won't be able to stop it, and and the Republicans, still hope to control everything, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2024-25. Earth Faith here, signing off.